Hi, I'm David Clarke, DJ instructor at Point Blank. If you want to learn more about Traktor and DJing in general, make sure you check out our courses at pointblanklondon.com. We are going to be looking at the effects in Traktor. First thing you need to do is be able to view them. So the best way to do this is go up to Preferences, click on Global Settings, and at the top click Show Global Section. Make sure the left and the right show Effect 1 and 2. First thing you need to do is decide whether you want group effects or single effects. In Effect 1 we have a group, and in Effect 2 we have a single. In both you have the dry and wet. The difference is that in the group you have one knob per effect, in the single you have more parameters to choose from. To change this, click on 1 and choose single, or click on 1 and choose group. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to show you both. In order for you to use effects, you have to turn each effect on each channel. So this is deck A, and I click 1. I'll be able to use the effects in a slot 1. Next we need to decide how much of the effect is over the track. First of all, what is the wet and dry? The wet and dry knob lets you choose how much of the effect is actually on the track. If you have it all the way dry, you won't hear any of the effect, and if you have it all the way wet, you'll only hear the effect. And if you have it in the middle, you'll be able to hear both the track and the effect. So let's have a listen. So consider how much effect you want over the track. If you want to change an effect, simply click on one of the drop downs and choose anything from the list. That will then change it, and you'll be able to just press on as and when you need. Another difference between the three effects over the single is you have to turn each one on individually, whereas if you look at the single one, you have to turn it on under the wet and dry knob, and then you can move around the other parameters. Let me show you. First arm it. And with the group effects, you can put more than one on at the same time. You can of course have both effects 1 and 2 as singles or groups, which means you could have a potential of 6 effects on at one time. Next we want to look at pre and post fader effects. In order for us to do this, let's click on the arrow and choose insert, which is the pre fader, and on this one let's click post fader. What insert or pre fader means is that when you turn the volume down, the effects will turn off at the same time. Let me demonstrate. But with post faders, if you bring the fader down, the effect will play out. This is really useful if you want to play a delay and then do a drop mix. For example, so once you've decided whether you want post or pre-fader, or should we say insert and post-fader, you can then play with parameters. Each ones have separate parameters for you to have a go at. If, for instance, you've found the perfect parameter and you want to keep it, for instance, delay, let's keep it like this, I can then click on the arrow and click Save Snapshot. That will actually save all the parameters just like this. So, for instance, if I turn the knobs, but I want to go straight back to my snapshot, all I have to do is press RST, which is reset. That will then change all the knobs back. That's really handy for changing something and then switching straight back instantly. There are loads of effects in Traktor and you'll find the perfect combination for yourself. But let's just have a look at delay in a bit more detail. We know the wet and dry knob. Choose how much filter we want. feedback. and lastly the rate. Which is really useful. But one little cool button is this freeze. Very similar to what we did a minute ago where we delay and then drop mix. We can do the same thing here for any track. And all we do is we get our parameters. So we go back to reset. So we're going to click freeze and all we're going to do is turn it on when we want to. Another useful way to be able to go from one track to another. Lastly with effects, you can have actually 4 units on. Let me show you how. Go up to preferences, go to effects, and you have an option whether you want 2 effects units or 4. You can click 4 and notice at the top it will change. You can then choose whether you want groups or singles, or by changing them with the down arrows. What this means is if you have groups, you can actually have 12 effects over the top, which is pretty crazy. I like to treat loops as little extras, so I wouldn't have them on all the time, but it's really nice to have a little feature every now and again. The only thing I would say is that Native Instruments haven't brought out anything that can control all 4 effects units at one time, so you'd need a piece of hardware separate that you could MIDI map them to. So for now I'm going to remove the 4. Now we know whether we want a group effect or a single effect, or you may want a combination of both. Let me give you some more examples of effects. Let's have a look at the Beat Masher. The Beat Masher is a sampler essentially, but what's good about it is you could use it to catch the end of a bar, like this. You could even use it as a build-up. Effects are a lot of fun and can really enhance your set. So have a go, have a play, and have fun.